Okay, hey guys, I'm back to finish the video, and then tomorrow, I'll be streaming the live stream I did with Two Hoes Dark Hour. Two Hoes at the podcast name. Dark Hour is the channel. Anyway, it would just be me streaming, and then I will be looking at the comments, or I may go to sleep for like 3 hours. I don't know. Anyway, let's continue this video.
Mom thinks Hillary
Oh,
Clinton.
wait. I've been watching Saike Kusano, Disastrous Life. The Disastrous Life of Saike. It's a good anime. You should watch it.
But you know what I mean. My mother certainly wasn't a fan of Hillary Clinton. In fact, my mom thinks Hillary Clinton was the devil.
I don't know much about Hillary Clinton. The only thing I do know is that she deleted like 250,000 emails or something like that. And it was a really big scandal. It was really awful. That's all I really know about her off the top of my head.
Would having Hillary in office have represented my mom? That she represents women. She doesn't. Clinton and represented my mom, who's, of course, a woman. Maybe it's a little bit more complicated than that. When somebody runs for office, I don't care about their gender and I don't care about their race.
I totally agree. I don't have anything to add to that.
I care about their policies and their values. I care whether or not they're going to make the country better. Women having the general preference of not running for office as much as white men, that's not them being oppressed. And it's the opposite. It's them having the freedom to make the choices about their lives.
I mean, it's not. I mean, some of them may have. I think at least the layman people have that think that, we need more women in office and that type of stuff. I think they have good intentions. They may think there's some type of thing preventing them from doing it, outside of their control, when there isn't. They may think that, and that may be preventing them from doing it, but that's the most generosity that I can give. But I really despise this talking point, the idea that, if you didn't get that before, the idea that we just need put group here, insert name of group here, needs more representation. And that I think it's really awful for society, because you're not getting the best, and you could potentially get people hurt or killed depending on what they're doing. And would you just want more representation in nuclear facilities? Because that would be awful. I mean, potentially awful. Where if one explodes, we need the best people on the best jobs, the most qualified. Acting is a different thing. In acting, it's not a meritocracy. It's more of a for example, if you're going for a role, the person that looks like the person or sounds like the person the best, or the best actor, may not get the role. It depends on a bunch of things. Maybe you just meet the person somewhere and they want you. It all that is a little more gray, but you still don't need more representation. I think it needs to be more of a meritocracy. I think we need to change the whole Hollywood system, ground up. But in that specific way, we need more meritocracy.
That they want to. That's the kind of equality that I want in a society. It's not saying that women, you should really start doing this thing more, whether you want to or not. Besides, voting for someone just because they're a woman would be kind of sexist.
That's not so bad if you don't think about it. Like if you never, ever think about it. And what world?
I doubt you ever think about it. I don't think these people ever think about it, this topic, seriously. Because they wouldn't have these positions otherwise.
Does it make sense that
I'm really tired. My brain is like foggy today.
less money than Fred Armisen?
The fact I know who Fred Armisen is, and
It makes sense that I make less money than Fred Armisen.
Maybe try and do more. Why does it matter? You know, you just deserve more money? Is that how it goes? That's not how the word works. You don't deserve more money because somebody makes more money. That's not how it works. You have to earn your place. How can you be so entitled? Jesus Christ.
the fact I know who Fred Armisen is, and I have no idea who the heck.
Who is Fred Armisen? We're going to look him up. Fred Armisen. Okay. Oh, yeah, I recognize his face. I didn't recognize his name. Frieden Robert Armisen is an American actor, comedian, musician, and writer. Wow, he does a lot with his comedy partner Carrie Brownstein. He co-created and co-starred in the IFC sketch comedy series Portlandia. He also co-created and starred in mockumentary IFC series documentary Now, and the Showtime comedy series Moonbase B. Wonder if that's a parody of Babylon 5 or something like that. It was. Okay.
Heck you are might partially.
You know, this, going back to Fred Armisen, I don't know what this lady did, but Fred Armisen, he looks like he really earned his money at 57. He, like I said, American actor, comedian, musician, and writer. He has he co-created and co-starred a bunch of stuff and starred in a bunch of stuff and has a comedy series. He's a busy man, and he looks like he earned all his money. What the fuck do you do, bitch?
Explain that. Are we going for the angle that you're a black woman and he's a white male?
Is he white? He looks more Indian or something like that. But he sounds like he earned his money. Wouldn't you appreciate that, or do you not give a fuck about him, or do you just want more money?
And
you
so
don't care about what you do. You just want more money. Is that it?
That's why you got paid less, or why didn't you negotiate for higher pay? I don't know. Maybe you're not quite worth what you think you're worth. Maybe that one's on you. Maybe if your jokes were funny, they'd pay you more.
That guy thinks this video is about pandas.
You know, to be honest, I wish this video was about pandas.
You know what? Forget.
Free.
Is about pandas.
You know, to be honest, I wish this video was about pandas.
What the fuck? Are we bearing witness to furry porn? Furry porn pandas. Oh, okay.
You know what? Forget about it. I want to come back as a lesbian's cat.
Why? That's some awful hair, by the way. But why the fuck would you want to be a cat? You're insane.
How did you spend so much money on so many comedians, but manage to? This video is a joke graveyard.
Really?
Alternatively, we could just
I don't. If I don't think they wrote. I don't think they wrote the script for this. I don't know if they care about this.
haul ass to Canada.
I don't hear them talking about this. I don't hear them talking about this anymore. So I am tired. Oh,
Tonight. I'm serious. My car's outside.
I know who she is.
This face is my soul right now.
The pay gap is so bad right now that the average
No,
woman
it's actually no. I hate this. In your field as a comedian, the pay gap is big. The pay gap is big because it matters on what you bring in, right? You don't have a set pay because it matters what money you bring in. That depends how much you get paid, all that stuff. And also, contracts and all that stuff. But it's illegal to pay someone less based on their gender or race or whatever. And if it was legal, why, let's say you could pay black people less. Why would I ever hire white people? Why? Well, I would only hire black people and pay them less if I were that kind of person, right? But obviously there's some people with morals, all that stuff. But if it were true, why don't you see all black places, If the pay gap is real,
woman's income is less than a Venice Beach mime. And they're great. They have no walls, but you think they're in a box. Women are in a box of oppression.
Do men get paid more than women for the same job? Yes.
No, not really.
No, they don't. It's illegal. It's actually illegal. How do you believe this? I used to like you as a comedian.
It's been against the law since 1963 when JFK signed the Equal Pay.
The Equal Pay Act of 1963 is a United States labor law amending the Fair Labor Law Standards Act aimed at abolishing wage disparity based on sex, see gender pay gap. It was signed into law on June 10th, 1963 by John F. Kennedy as part of New Frontier Program.
Pay Act. And if it ever happens at your workplace, then you should report it to the authorities because that's illegal.
But think about how much work we do. Not only do we have to pitch our own ideas, we also have to pitch our female coworkers' ideas moments after they said them, but a little quiet. Quieter.
Now, I may just be a mild-mannered, handsome, good boy doggo myself, but if I was a man and I had been given the script that said, sarcastically, think about how much work men do, I would be raising a bit of a brow at that, especially because, wait, this is me you're trying to put down. I just think if this was me, I'd be saying, well, actually, hold on a moment. Men are actually pretty awesome. I'd be saying, yeah, I'm all for lifting women up if they're oppressed. And
I hear your rags, but money is good. He probably would pay a lot, and he probably he went through. I don't know if it was a scandal, but he did cocaine for it. He did all sorts of drugs. He had to go. He did like a intervention and all this stuff. He may want to do this to try and save face, or it may be something nefarious or something. I don't know why. For one, just stupid to believe. But why would you? I don't know why you would allow someone else to let you. Why would you put yourself down like this? I don't know. Oh,
I don't think they are oppressed. But if that was my goal, I would be able to recognize that's different than trying to disparage men. Because when someone says to me, think about all the work men do, well, what comes to mind? Well, the first thing that comes to mind are soldiers who are vastly and who have been vastly predominantly male. The people who put themselves into harm's way, the men who've sacrificed their lives for their values and principles and to defend the things that they believe in. The men who've gone across the world to fight against evils or to defend our allies. I think about all the anguish and pain and hardships, both mental and physical, that those men must have to endure so that we don't have to do that at home. The virtue of brotherhood and camaraderie, to disparage men so broadly like that. Even if we step away from that aspect, what about the people who do the most dangerous jobs, the harshest and hardest jobs in our society?
What if you made a video like this but about women?
The men who have to climb massive communications towers to do repairs and maintenance. Or the men who have to work in oil rigs. What about lumber workers and loggers? The men who go into disaster zones as search and rescue. The police force is predominantly male. Think of all the stuff that they have to put up with. The danger that they're in. And what about firefighters? Could you imagine if we didn't have firefighters? Thank goodness that we have men in our society who are willing.
It's not that women can't do these jobs. It's just that women don't want to, do hard work. And, they don't have to. They don't want to. And it's like you would make people do this stuff and by force, presumably. That's actually awful.
Willing to do these dangerous jobs that are difficult, that are often thankless.
I doubt I would want to ask him this. I forgot his name, but I know the comedian.
But something about men in a boardroom repeating what women say. Yeah, think about how hard men have to work, right? They don't really do anything. How's that ratio, by the way? I can't imagine how you got that.
Oh, I remember when you used to be able to see dislikes on YouTube. A blast from the past.
And that's why we don't smile more.
Well, maybe you should, because you don't have to do all the dirty, nasty, terrible, dangerous jobs.
I never understood this. What's so wrong about telling someone to smile more? You're literally telling them, hey, be happy. Hey, smile more. You're happy. You live in a great time in human history. A lot of problems are solved. You don't have to go scavenging for food. You don't have to fight your neighbor if you don't want to. Anything like that. Why wouldn't you want to smile? Unless you're trying to manufacture problems.
Keep society's wheels a rolling. What, you think soldiers on the front line of combat are always grinning ear to ear?
Here's a fun fact. In the Fortune 500, there are fewer female CEOs than male CEOs named James.
Yeah, sounds to me like women generally don't want to be CEOs.
And and this is the part that makes me angry. They always talk about, we need more female CEOs, more females in charge. They never talk about, we need garbage women, more soldiers, more this, more the shitty jobs. They always talk about the great jobs, right? Because that's what everybody wants. But they never talk about it because they suck, and why would you want to do them? Of course. They don't care about actual equality. They care about having money. That's what it portrays to me. If they did, they would talk about every job equally. They only talk about the high paying, the good jobs. They never talk about the shitty ones.
As much as men do, because women generally prefer to be with their families and at home and doing more personable things and dealing with people. And there's nothing wrong with that either. Seems like, on average, women tend to prefer families and friends and relationships more than their careers. I mean, there are female CEOs. I mean, they're out there. We have them. They're very successful and talented at what they do. We have female CEOs. They can get there, but it's a very tough job to do, and they have to outcompete a lot of people, especially men. So the stats will show that.
Give me a second. Turn my Wi-Fi off.
There's also not a lot of women in garbage collections. Kind of odd that. I mean, I hope for consistency's sake that you're also advocating for more females in garbage collection, right? It's always the shiny, clean, neat jobs that feminists say that women need to be a part of. It's never the dirty, grimy, dangerous, nasty jobs. There's just something that I've noticed.
We demand Arias and Andromedas in the boardroom. Shannons! Dianes!
Jesus, shut the fuck up. What an obnoxious bitch. What do you think you're going to do? Annoy people into giving you what you want? No, doesn't work like that. All the men who are CEOs and in that boardroom, no one gave that to them. They had to fight everyone else off and earn it themselves.
Exactly. I don't... Did these women not have to work for their jobs? Were they just given them? It makes you think these women never worked a day in their life, you know? You know, that's what it seems like, you know? The way that they talk.
What, you think you're just going to demand to be a CEO and that's that? Gonna give you a super pro gamer tip. Yelling at people obnoxiously that you demand things, not the best way to get those things.
Ask yourself this. In 208 years, how far will manspreading have spread?
Not gonna lie, the issue of manspreading probably isn't gonna be the one that wins over hearts and minds to the feminine.
It's literally because your balls are in the way, you don't want to squish them. Like, putting my leg together right now. That's not unbearable, but it's like, you know, my legs want to naturally fall apart because, you know, it's how my body's built. You know, if I have to use my muscles to keep them together. But if I just let them relax, they fall apart. I never understood this point. It makes sense. Women's boobs are too big. They take up too much space. How about that? Put them together. Put your boob together, women.
Feminist cause. Because when normal people hear, yeah, it's a bad thing that men sit with their legs slightly open because of, you know, the fact that men have testicles and we can't just squeeze our legs together. Whenever one of these male feminist types complains about manspreading, do they not realize that like they can't sit like that either? It would be like a white person saying you shouldn't use sunscreen at the beach on a sunny day.
I don't know. 208 years isn't that long. If you're one of those big turtles that lives forever.
All right, that was kind of funny. Yeah.
I gotta check my notes. Huh, that's weird. Just says this is bullshit on every page.
I'm sure it can't get any worse than this.
208 years is very long.
For your example, Cara Burnett, I believe, is a singer, and she can do the Tarzan voice really well. But that was just fucking awful. My God. Like it, she did her Tarzan voice was apparently so popular on her show. She would do the Tarzan voice, and then a couple years ago she did it again, and you know it got big. She was good at it, you know, and it's just like she's just screaming awfully. It sounds awful. Shut the fuck up. How did anyone think this was a good idea?
I mean, what are we doing?
You're screaming like a bunch of autistic banshees is what you're doing. But, that's a fair enough question. What are we doing? Well, what would you propose that we do? Because so far, what I've gathered from this video is that I should be glad and I should consider it good news when women outpace men, but it's bad when men outpace women. Remember that thing from earlier? The degree thing? It's good when women get more degrees than men.
Let's read this out one more time. The U.S. has achieved achieved gender parity across all levels of the educational system. Women now earn more than 2/3 master degrees, more than men. And the major of doctoral degrees. However, see, it only matters if they earn more.
Not only is it good, but it's parity in your mind. Also, I should squeeze my testicles between my legs, I guess. What are we doing, you ask? Well, it seems that we've created a society that has given women the freedom to do the things that they want to do. And it appears that women generally tend to want and desire and value different things than men do on average. And the results of that are that you don't have as many women CEOs. You have women in other jobs and women who want to stay home with their children. You have a lot of...
And plus, it's good to care about other people's rights, but why do you care so much about what other people do? It's just like, you can look at something and say, hey, yeah, that's a problem, we need to fix it, but why are you trying to force people into doing stuff?
A lot of women...
I doubt that they believe this, actually, because it's stupid. You can look up the laws if this was an act.
Who put a lot of value in their families, who put that over their careers.
Hey, thanks for joining.
And that's a very noble thing, don't you think? I certainly think it is. And it works both ways. There's a virtuous aspect of doing a job you might not want to do, or working hours you might not want to work, because you know that it's ultimately something that will provide for your family and be...
I mean, I want to join the military. I'm trying to join the Navy. I want to do 20 years. I want to do Navy, and then I want to join the SEALs. That's what I want to do. I'm trying to do it right now, but I got PTSD, so the military, they're taking a bit longer than I would be happy with, but I'm really close. They just have to give me a yes or no answer. And then, if they give me yes, I'll join. And it'll be 3 months until I upload again. And you'll see me in... Anyway.
Be best for them. Think about all the men who have to work all day to support their families, who wish that they could stay home and be with their kids, who wish they didn't have business trips or late work nights or deadlines for their careers that got in the way of their involvement with their families. Earlier on, you screamed at us that you wanted more Arias and Andromedas and Dianes or whatever in the boardroom. Well, what if women are too wise to do that? What if women generally think that there are more important things in life than their jobs?
You guys know I have 3 daughters, right?
Okay.
Than life than their jobs.
You guys know I have 3 daughters, right?
I hope you wouldn't force your daughters into doing something they wouldn't want to do, Would you be okay with your daughter just wanting kids or doing not a lot, with their lives, not being a CEO? Would you be okay with that? Because from this video, I don't think you would. I mean, I don't think you care about all this shit, On a day-to-day basis, I don't think you believe this,
Yeah, you have a son too, Jack.
This is actually terrifying.
Oh,
You're
she has a son too.
Terrified that your 3 daughters will grow up in a world where it's easier for them to become just as rich and famous as you are? You have
Actually, much easier because nepotism. But They could become more famous because it's easier for them. Why? I think they make videos like this because they may be secretly guilty about all the stuff that goes on in Hollywood. I think that more people know than we realize and more stuff that comes out, the more I am convinced of that. More people know about the stuff that's going on. Maybe they're trying to cover for it to seem like by doing this to be better people. Maybe they feel guilty.
Net worth of $10 million.
Yeah, your kids. If you have $10 million, your kids don't have to do anything. Your kids wouldn't have to work.
I think they'll be okay.
It's scary, too. 208 years is scary.
It's also bullshit. And it's a shame that you've given in to an ideology that fills your heart with such dread and fear when it's completely unfounded.
I want to live then.
So what that's really saying is, not only will I not experience.
I kind of want to live 208 years in the future. I wonder what kind of stuff will be going on 208 years in the future. Wonder if people will be living on Mars by then. That'd be cool. You can go on like trips to like Mars, as 208 years in the future. It's gonna be interesting then.
Experience it. No one on this planet that exists right now.
I'm gonna. If anyone 208 years in the future sees the video, because even when I die, I'm gonna leave this channel up. All that stuff. This is gonna be here forever. If anyone 208 years in the future, I guess leave a comment on the video. Tell my kids what would like. I guess. Well, I guess they'd know. I'm an idiot. Anyway.
Now, as a woman, will experience it.
You're basically experiencing it right now. It's just not what you've been told it's supposed to be. There are reasons why things are the way they are, and you've bought into the idea that it's because of oppression. When I cannot think of anyone who's more
trips to like different planets. That'd be cool.
Privileged than a woman in a modern Western society. You can get basically any job that you want. Yeah, women
this lady has a good job.
Easiest, most comfortable ones, and don't have to do the dangerous, horrible ones. You get to work less hours. You get to spend more time with your children. We're supposed to believe women when they say things just because they're a woman when men don't get the same privilege. Women get shorter sentences for the same crimes. They get custody of their kids in divorces far more often than men. Women live longer. Women are minorities in the homeless population. Men are far more likely to commit suicide than women are. And men are 93% of workplace fatalities and 97% of war casualties, and they're 78% of homicide victims. What is it exactly that you want to see changed in 208 years that will make it better for women in this regard? Should all of those statistics be at 50%? What, you want more women CEOs? Then go be one. Go and earn it like all the men who are CEOs had to. Just understand that you're at the point now where you have to complain about the way that men can sometimes sit on buses because of our natural physiology. And look, I don't want anyone to get the wrong impression of what I'm trying to say here. I'm not saying that all of these things should be 50%. And obviously, when it comes to things like workplace deaths
and it's impossible for really any of that stuff involving people to be 50%, because unless you force it, and even unless you force it, it could be 50%, but it wouldn't last very long because people would rebel against you. So even if you could, it wouldn't last very long.
Military casualties, obviously, I know why the rate is far, far higher with men. There's a reason for why statistics are the way they are. And maybe there are reasons for those statistics being the way they are that don't come down to simply oppression, misogyny. What is it that you want? What do you propose we do to do it? And will the natural freedoms that women enjoy in our society, will they have to come secondary to these goals of yours? What if, even if you don't believe it, what if it is the case that women generally just don't want to be CEOs as much as men do? What if men really do have different values than women? What then? What happens now? As long as they're not being held back because they are women, what is the problem?
Back in the covered wagon days when I was doing my show, if a woman was forceful, she was a bitch.
It doesn't matter. It's different now. She'd not consider that anymore.
If a man was forceful, he was forceful.
Well, he was also being an asshole. He wasn't just being forceful. And this obviously is extremely contextual. Why was he being forceful? Was he just being aggressive? Was he being assertive? How was he actually doing it? To whom was he doing this? Because I don't buy the idea that a man could just be forceful and nobody would think lesser of him or different.
Listen, and it doesn't... What the heck? Apparently someone subscribed to me. Go check my comments. Whoever subscribed to me, thanks. I guess.
Differently of him? Remember this clip from earlier? If a man was doing that, do you think I'd just be A-okay with it? Would it be any less obnoxious? Also, what exactly is the relevance here? This was a long time ago, even by your own admission.
These qualities that we really applaud in men are looked at in women as being negative things. And that's just sexism at work right there.
What qualities? I would like you to explain what qualities.
A woman came up to you and said, my husband is forceful.
Oh, yeah, that quality. Yeah. That's just awful. No, we don't applaud them in men. We don't applaud. Listen, if your husband is being forceful, not like, being forceful, like, oh, take out the trash, or being assertive. If he's like forcing you to do shit, just call the police. You don't want to do. This is not true. Like, women get away with a lot more than men. Just like on a social society level,
Well, you think that would be great? You think people would have a positive view of him if a girl said, "Oh, my boyfriend, he's forceful," or if a little boy said, "My father, he's a forceful man"? Oh yeah, people would be cheering. No problems at all. They'd love it.
I once reported sexual harassment at my place of work, and I wanted the guy gone, and I was questioned. Are you sure? Are you sure you want that?
Of course you had to be questioned.
This whole 208 years thing.
What if someone, of course you have to be questioned, because we can't just take people at their word. If that were true, most people would be in prison, because it'd just be like, sexual harassment, pull them in prison. You have to find out the evidence. You have to find out if it's true or not.
Thing. It just makes me think.
Your word isn't law, lady.
Are women going to have to be asked, are you sure, for another 208 years?
The first time I listened through this video, this part made me legitimately angry. And I'll explain why. We live in a society, memes aside, where we have rules in place and we have structures in the books and laws that state very clearly if someone is sexually harassing you at work, they can get fired. That's not something they're allowed to do. Society looks down on that. There are legal ramifications for that kind of act.
Ugh.
And that's good. People shouldn't be able to sexually harass other people at work. I doubt you'll find many people who would disagree with that. What made me so angry about this is that you have all these rules in place to protect you, and you said this guy was sexually harassing me, and you brought it to the people in charge, and you're upset that they asked if you're certain. That you're upset at them because you came to them with a claim, and they asked, "Are you certain?" Of course, they asked if you're certain. I can't understand this is what it's like to be privileged. This right here. This is one of the most privileged attitudes that I have ever seen.
I think this is, I think, come from, I think she wasn't told no a lot, you know, and she probably isn't told no a lot in her daily life. She probably expects that when she said something, it's gonna happen, you know? It's awful. Ugh.
In any of the videos I've ever watched, this is a woman who's saying, I reported someone for sexually harassing me. Whether it's correct or not correct, kind of not relevant to the point. Let's assume it's correct.
You know what? I'm gonna do this later. My internet is just awful and ruining the quality of the video. Like and subscribe to me and Rags, and have a great day.